Alex Pereira once again put on a stunning display of violence. Probably his best performance yet because he had to prove he could fight through a bit of adversity. But Pereira was controlling the whole fight just by his sheer presence. And when it was time to put on the pressure and get the finish, that's what we saw. And he's one of the most active people on all of the roster. So the question naturally begs itself, is he, pound for pound, number one on the planet?
Bem-vindos ao canal Clips MMA. Nessa terça-feira, teremos a atualização do ranking do UFC. Com a vitória avassaladora do Poatan contra o Khalil Rountree, será que veremos o índio finalmente assumindo a primeira posição peso por peso do evento? Essa foi a discussão trazida pelo Bisping nesse vídeo. Vamos conferir, deixe a opinião de vocês aí nos comentários, já se inscrevam no canal e bora!
Alex Pereira once again put on a stunning display of violence. Probably his best performance yet because he had to prove he could fight through a bit of adversity. He had to go to the later rounds. He had to be the hammer and the nail. But the reality is, he was never really much of a hammer. Yeah, he got hit a few times, but he was never flustered. He was never bothered. He kept cool, calm and collected, and the whole time was just waiting to pounce on Khalil Rountree. Khalil, fair play, great effort, going from 0 to 100 really quick to land shots, and then was bouncing around the octagon like a little mosquito, more like a bothersome fly than a real threat to Pereira. Again, that sounds insulting. I'm not being insulting, but Pereira was controlling the whole fight just by his sheer presence, and when it was time to put on the pressure and get the finish, that's what we saw. He has defended the belt 3 times in 7 months. He's a 2-weight division champion, and he's one of the most active people on all of the roster. So the question naturally begs itself, is he, pound for pound, number one on the planet? Straight away, you might think, hold on, no he's not, no he's not, because he hasn't beaten all the different types of styles that he could possibly go up against. I'm talking about, of course, Magomed Ankalaev. That is a big glaring one when you talk about the greatness, the pound for pound greatness of Alex Pereira. Pound for pound means if you were to take all the fighters and make them all the same size, pound for pound, whose skills are the best to win a fight against anybody else, okay? So therefore, you've got to consider how they would do against different styles. And for Pereira, you can make the argument that he's had stylistically favorable matchups. Khalil Rountree Jr. wasn't even dreaming of doing a takedown. Yuri Prohaska, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohaska again. Of course, a win over Jan Blachowicz, who is a good grappler, a BJJ black belt, but not the wrestling threat of an Islam Makhachev, a Khabib Nurmagomedov, or a Magomed Ankalaev. So that's not his fault. They're the top people right now. Of course, Magomed is matched up against Alexander Rakic. That goes down in a couple of weeks in Abu Dhabi. But is he pound for pound number one? When you think about pound for pound number one, who are the names that immediately come to your mind? Don't lie. I know you're thinking John Jones, because that's correct. John Jones should be in the discussion. However, he hasn't fought in quite some time, but he does come back in a very short amount of time. November, he goes back up against Stipe. If he gets the win, I think he's sitting on top of that throne, top of the mountain, top of the bill, the pound for pound number one. But right now, the other name that you're probably thinking of is Islam Makhachev. Yes, that's correct. Islam Makhachev has done incredible things. Of course, he has the 1 loss. Pereira has 2 losses, but strength of schedule matters. Pereira is going through everybody. 3 title defenses in 7 months and taking the world by storm. So if you go through the top 10, it's really hard to deny Alex Pereira is number one. Number 2, Alex Pereira. Number 1, Islam Makhachev. But the question is, has that all changed? Because Saturday night, he went out there once again and showed everyone how good he is. So, is he the pound for pound number one? Well, he is very active. He is taking on the top competition. Yeah, sure, granted, maybe Magomed Ankalaev should have been there Saturday night, but he wasn't. That's not his fault. You can't hold that against him. But the people that he is beating, he's doing it in sensational fashion, and he's finishing them, okay? And that's partly what I want to see. To be pound for pound number one, you got to be finishing people. You can't be scraping by them with split decisions. You got to do it in emphatic fashion. And I don't think there's anyone out there right now with the finishing ability of Alex Pereira. It is frightening what he can do. And the only discussion, the only question around Alex Pereira right now is, can he beat somebody like Magomed Ankalaev? Because that's the only style we haven't really seen. Can he stop a wrestler? That's been the whole knock on Alex Pereira. Oh, UFC are giving him fan-friendly matchups. They're giving him styles that favour him. He's a glory kickboxer. Of course, he's going to beat Yuri Prohaska and Jamal Hill and all these others. These are all tremendous fighters. Israel Adesanya, so on and so forth. These are legendary, tremendous fighters, okay? But I guess stylistically, it is favourable to his style. But I'm saying all this, Pereira, yeah, I'm going to give Pereira the top spot right now. Pound for pound, number one, right now, Alex Pereira. There it is.